If you're spending 100k up to 200k per month on Meta, but you're stuck and can't scale beyond it, you've probably tried everything. For creatives, new angles, different offers, maybe even different teams or agencies. But here's what most people get wrong. The difference between spending 100k per month on Meta profitably and spending 3, 4, 500k per month on Meta profitably is not about just trying more things. It's about doing it structured and differently. I have a repeatable framework that I use to scale multiple brands past 1 million per month purely from Meta ads. If you take this framework and you apply it to your brand, I promise you, you will scale. So in this video, I will go through every step of it. The research, the strategy, the persona building, the script writing, everything. So here's the full breakdown of this 1 million per month playbook. Step number 1 of this is the research. Now, if you're already spending 100,000 per month on Facebook, you definitely have done some research and used some research frameworks. However, whenever I start working with brands, I see that most of those research frameworks are quite shallow and not that strategic. This is in the end what's holding them back. So here's the deep research that I do to ensure that we don't miss anything. So first of all, what we start is we search through the entire ad account for top performing ads from the last 7 days, from the last 30 days, and from the last 180 days. We also analyze what kind of ads were performing 1 year ago and 2 years ago at this exact season. Because many market desires and trends are seasonal, even for niches where you wouldn't expect it. We gather all of those ads in one spreadsheet where we take them apart in detail and analyze why exactly they're working. And when I say analyze, it doesn't just mean that, oh, we think this works because it was a sticky notes concept, or I think this works because it was a UGC video, or I think this works because we went for this new angle. No, I don't even mean analyzing angles. I mean analyzing the psychological triggers behind it. Once you've done that and filled it out, we move on to doing the same, but for all of our direct competitors. To do that, you can use tools like Foreplay, Atria, or even the ad library and sort by active ads and ads with highest impression count. You want to take all of the active highest impression and longest running competitor ads and fill them into your spreadsheet as well. Then you want to dissect those ads in detail and understand how they position the brand, what the awareness level is that they target, what the sophistication stage is that they target, what the targeted persona is, what the hook is, what the script POV is, and so on. Now, here's a common thing most teams and brands get wrong about competitor research. They think they're analyzing what's working and what to do. That's not entirely correct. Instead, you should be analyzing what not to do. A competitor does it, great, that means you don't want to do it. Otherwise, you just sound the same. Why would they buy from you if you're the same as your competitor? Sure, you could still get a part of the market, but we all want to build a big brand and not be known to be the cheaper copycat of that brand, right? So you want to specifically pay attention to what awareness level they don't target and what potential persona they don't target, because those are gaps in the market that you could fill. Now, the next step of the research is going to Reddit, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and all possible social platforms and forums where your ideal persona is discussing about their problem and the product. And here's the thing, you don't only want to research what they say about other products, because this is just the product aware market. You want to pretend you are such a person that has this problem and research from all awareness levels. That means when you're pretending that you're a product aware person, you research competitor products and you research weak points of them and how people deal with it, so that your messaging addresses how your ICP can overcome the disappointments and failed products of your competition. And so you can directly compare your advantages. Then, when you do research pretending you're a solution-aware person, you want to search specifically for a solution, not for a product. For example, if we were selling protein powder, we don't research about protein powder, but you research something like, how can I cover my daily protein need to build muscle? This is where you will get exposed to all different solutions and all failed solutions that your ICP has already gone through. If we go back to the protein powder example, they will not only find things like protein powders, although they will also find it, but they will also find other things like just eating more meat, or just eating beans or fish, or other solutions that would satisfy their protein needs, even protein bars or protein ice cream or things like that. Products that are not yours, but products that still satisfy the same need. And this is also what you repeat for the problem-aware audience. So here you don't research, how can I cover my daily protein need, but you type into Google, I'm working out for 2 months and not building muscle. Why? And after digging through all the answers, you will deeply understand the customer journey of your persona, depending on what awareness level they are at. Problem-aware, solution-aware, or product-aware. When it comes to most aware people and unaware people, it looks a bit different. Most aware people are obviously already most aware, and those ads are very straightforward and easy. You just give them the offer, remind them, and a discount. For the unaware people, you will obviously not find any research for them because they won't be searching for a problem. because they're simply unaware of it. So this is a challenge, but you can overcome this with common sense and unaware scripting frameworks. I will go over that later. Now, once you have deeply understood your ICP based on their awareness level, you want to again fill out a spreadsheet with all the information you found and all the ideas you got while doing the research. As an additional benefit, you will also see a lot of different articles, sponsored brand searches and ads that will show you what the claim of your competitors is. This is great to identify the sophistication stage they target. And this tells you what not to do, but how to formulate your message to stand out. For example, if you find that most competitor claims target stage 2, that means they're exaggerating the claim, you want to move on to stage 3, where you use a new mechanism to make your claim believable. I have a video about market awareness levels and sophistication stages in case you're not familiar with it, and I'll link it in the description. Understanding it and applying it in your briefs is essential to tailor your message to your customer persona and resonate. But for now, let's move on. Next up, we do review mining. You want to export all of your reviews and all of your competitor reviews and even Amazon reviews selling the same or a similar product. Then you want to organize them all in a spreadsheet and sort them by length. Reviews like "this works great," "I love this product," or "delivery was perfect" are completely useless and we want to cut them out. If you sort the reviews by length and start from looking at the longest reviews, you will be able to see real gold nuggets where people explain their entire life story and tell you how their life was before the product, how they found it, and how it became after the product. Those are invaluable for brief writing because these gold nuggets is the exact language and the exact script fragment that you want to take and use to fill out the brief later. And I say fill out on purpose because great briefs and scripts are not written but assembled. I will explain why in the script writing section of this video. So after sorting them and taking the most valuable 300, 500 or 1000 reviews depending on how many you have, you can feed them into ChatGPT, Gemini or Grok and ask it to identify the most common pain points and problems, desired outcomes, purchase prompts, USPs, features, benefits, potential objections and their transformation. After you do this, you want to do the exact same step for post-purchase surveys and for all of your Facebook comments. And once you have all this data, you again take it and fill out your spreadsheet where you have all this information. You also want to sort by most common, moderately common and least common. And this for all the key points that you have distilled from this research. Because obviously mentioning the most common points that people talk about will resonate with far more people than the points that less people mention. So obviously you want to start with the most commonly mentioned points. Now after you gather all of this research and basically build your database about everything you know about your persona, your product, your competitors, their journey, their life, how they feel, how they want to feel, and everything else, we move on to building the personas. At this point, it should be clear what the main desires that your product satisfies. And when I say desires, I mean deep psychological desires. For example, if we sell a gym outfit, the desire is not just feeling cute, even if most people mentioned it, but actually being identified as a specific person, and also sexual validation and attention from the opposite gender. You can get to those deep desires by asking why often enough. There are only few psychological based desires, and you can lead all superficial desires back to them. Now, once you found the psychologically deep desires, you want to again sort them by frequency, because the most frequently mentioned desire is the thing that will be again most scalable in our ads. Now, when we create the personas, they get created by the desires. One desire creates many personas. The broadest persona that we can go with is just all the people who want X. For example, if the core desire of your product is losing weight and sexual validation by their partner or the opposite gender, your broadest persona would be everyone who wants that. This is obviously very scalable and broad, but at the same time, it's not specific enough to resonate with specific people. If you imagine who is someone who wants to lose weight, there are many archetypes of people who could fit into this category. So from here, you want to build sub-personas to actually have a concrete person in mind and resonate with them in your ads. You want to take this desire and create 2 to 3 personas where you can answer specific questions like what's their age, where do they live, what's their core problem, and how does it show in their everyday life. Not just, oh, I'm fat, but for example, I can't see my feet because of my belly. Then you want to write down the top 5 most powerful emotions they feel around the problem. Because in the end, people buy and do things out of emotion. Write also down their 5 biggest fears and 5 ways those fears affect key relationships in their life. Write down failed solutions, failed products, and also what they do not want to do to fix this problem. For example, most people wouldn't want to work out to lose weight. So claiming something like lose weight without sweating 1 hour every day in the gym would work well for this kind of people. Then you also want to answer these questions. What's the primary transformation they want if it could happen in a second? How would they feel after it gets resolved like this? What would their key relationships say after the transformation about them? Those are all critical things to fill out, because this is exactly what will tell you what to mention in the briefs. This is exactly how they want to feel, and this is exactly how they want to be perceived and treated by other people. You also want to note down the most likely awareness stage that they are in. However, be careful with that, because you don't want to focus on only one awareness stage. And this leads me actually to the next step, which is writing briefs. When you write briefs, you don't want to focus on only one awareness stage, and this is why I said you want to be careful with that. Because while that is very specific, it is also not scalable. Most brands only advertise for the product aware and the most aware market, which is by far the smallest part of the market. Every persona you have crafted exists in each awareness stage. There are sub-personas of them that are at different awareness levels. And even if we go back to the product protein powder, well, most people watching this video will be probably aware what it is and how it works. Someone who is just getting into working out or losing fat might not be aware exactly of how it works and why they need protein powder. This is why you want to build briefs and ads for every single awareness level. This is how you can hit them all. And that will build a funnel that will get a person from unaware to most aware, regardless of what awareness level they are in and regardless of what their journey in the funnel is right now. So before you write even the first word for your script, be clear on the desires you want to target in the script, the persona you want to target in the script, the awareness level you want to target in this specific script, and the sophistication of this specific persona. You want to decide this for every single script you write, and you want to have a mix so you cover all awareness levels. Now, if you ask me about how to prioritize what awareness level to start with or what persona to start with, there's actually no clear formula for that, and it is highly contextual and depends on your market research. But if you've done the previous steps all correctly and in depth, you'll already have a good guide on where to start, and you'll probably know where most of the money in the market is. Now, after you've decided on these parameters, you still do not start. Before that, you want to decide in what kind of ad format you want to package it. Those can be something like founder style ad, UGC ad, raw no-cut ad, voiceless text overlay ad, static sticky notes ad, and any other ad formats on the market. That is where the competitor ad format research pays off, because instead of copying what they say or how they position themselves, you only want to copy the delivery mechanism, which is the ad format. So if you've done your previous research correctly, you will know exactly what kind of ad formats resonate with your audience, and you want to choose the same ad format. You can also get creative with it and take ad formats from new niches. However, when I start, I like to take proven ad formats, because in the end, the ad format is just the delivery mechanism, and what's way more important is the messaging and our positioning. And that will be already very different to your competition if you've done the previous steps correctly. Alright, so once you decided on all of those parameters, you can finally start to write a brief. Depending on the awareness level you chose, you want to use a script framework that is tailored towards specifically that awareness level. My team and me use a collection of script frameworks that we keep adding on every month, because there are infinite ways to say one thing. However, if you don't have those frameworks and don't know where to start, just go on Claude and prompt, give me the top 10 performing product-aware ad frameworks that are working and viral for meta ads right now. You can do the same for solution-aware, problem-aware, and even unaware ad frameworks. Claude will output a few modular frameworks that you can actually use, and it will perform greatly most of the time. Now, when you're writing the brief, all you need to do is to fill out the gaps just like back in school. You don't need to come up with some crazy words or lines or structure, because all of that is already predetermined. You have the working ad format, you have the working framework, you have the working hooks, you know what awareness level to write in, you know what sophistication stage to write in, you know the emotions of your audience, you want exactly how they want to feel at the end, you want exactly how they want to transform, you know exactly how their current problem shows in their everyday life and how they feel about it. And if you just take all of this information and fill out the gaps of the framework, you will hit very likely a great ad and maybe even a big winner that will scale your brand at low customer acquisition cost. After you do that, all you need to do is reaching out to content creators. You can find them on Incense, Billow, Backstage, Instagram, TikTok. You can even just reach out to them directly. Then you want to send them the brief, agree on compensation per brief, and get the whole brief and content from them. Most of the times you will want to give them visual direction. So together with your lines that are already in your script, you want to write another scene instruction where you describe every single B-roll or A-roll they want to take while taking the line that is on your script. Once you get the content back, all you need to do is to edit it, add text overlay, let it go through post-production, and now you have your ad that is very likely to hit or at least make you profitable additional money in the ad account. You want to do this process with as many ads as possible without losing quality and without having the hit rate fall. After you launch all the ads, you want to analyze exactly why are they performing or why are they not performing. And I don't mean just shallow metrics like hook rate, hold rate, click-through rate and things like that. Those are all indicators for why an ad is working, but they are not the reason. The hook rate is 48% on this video is not a reason why the ad is working. The reason why the ad is working is the reason why the hook rate is 48%. What did you mention? What emotional trigger did you pull? What cognitive bias did you leverage? You want to go beyond specific phrases or angles, but analyze the psychology and analyze why this ad is working psychologically. Now I can't explain this whole process in just this video because then this video would be longer than 5 hours. However, if you want to learn more about it, you want to go and read Breakthrough Advertising, Cash Advertising Online and look up cognitive biases on Wikipedia. You want to analyze exactly why your winning ads are winning and why your losing ads are losing and build new hypotheses that you want to test in your next round of ideation. These hypotheses and learnings will inform your next ideation and make sure that the next ads hit harder than the previous ones. I have videos on how to do learnings and how to analyze ads, so if you want to learn that in detail, subscribe and check them out. Now if you repeat the system, all that might stand in your way to scale to 1 million per month on Meta is only your funnel, your offer, and your Meta ads account structure. Those are things that I can't cover in this video simply for time reasons, but if you keep following my videos, you will see videos that talk exactly about that. Now, if you're already spending 100k per month and you've hit a plateau and you want someone to actually help you implement all of the system and even improve your funnel, your offer, and your Meta ads account structure, this is exactly what I do for brands. Click the first link in the description. This is where you can set up a call with me and where we can discuss how I can do that for your brand. Keep scaling. Bye.